My fellow Zambians, ladies and gentlemen, children, youths, countrymen and women, I wish to exercise my freedom of expression, right? And state the following. Please, I just want to put up my disclaimer out there that this has nothing to do with putting the name of the President of the Republic of Zambia's name into disrepute, or the country into disrepute. I respect my country very much. Zambia, it's the only country that I am proud of, that I can go out there and carry the flag and fly it everywhere, because it's one of the most beautiful country in Africa that has endured peace, which is a very, 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 very positive, which is very positive to the rest of the Zambian people, and we need that, because there's too much drama in this world, and you don't want to be a refugee in a foreign country, because I've seen it all. Refugees, and I'm just happy that Zambia, it's still maintaining the same peace, and please do not take that peace for granted, and don't put our country into a war zone. But I foresee that certain leaders, some of the leaders, are being careless in the utterances of some phrases that may land us in a problem. But and this is what brings me to the issue, the reason why I have decided to record this. This is to you, Your Excellency, our President, the incumbent President of the Republic of Zambia, that the phrase that Your Excellency used, the Ulima Mwivala, Alila Mwivala phrase. You, of all people, must know that phrase very well from the previous governments. I'm talking about MMD during the Chiluba's era. That's the phrase that Mr. Chiluba used. And look where that phrase ended him. How that phrase was applied and where it landed him. Mr. Chiluba never enjoyed his retirement from politics. The only thing that we heard for so many years was thefty this, thefty that, millions this, million that. SCC has launched an investigation. Mr. Chiluba was stripped of his immunity by the legislatures, and Mwanawasa, who was a very strong man, zero tolerance on corruption, who never used that phrase of Ulima Mwivala, Lila Mwivala. He never used, and he hated that phrase. And I believe, Mr. President, you know that phrase as well. And for you to come out and use that phrase to the public, to the Zambian people, it's like a mockery. And it's like you are taking us back to the Chiluba era, where corruption was the talk of the day. And this is exactly what is happening, because during Chiluba's time, he used that word to refrain people, or rather to tell people that it was okay for the government to have used part of the public funds to their own personal gain, because they're working hard, because they are public servants, they are in government. He tried to legitimize it, and because of the wealth that he accumulated at the time, that never went well for him, Your Excellency. And this is exactly what you are doing, going back to the same kind of sentiments. And I challenge you, Your Excellency, to withdraw that statement and stick to your political agendas, where you have to serve the people of Zambia. The phrase you are not only the phrase that you've used, you're not only inciting public theft, but you are legitimizing it, telling people that it's okay to steal when you are in your high office. If you give a Zambian minister or anybody in authority an inch, they take a mile. And you are trying to legitimize that inch, that it's okay if they use a mile over the inch because they work in those ministries or they're in government. That's a wrong phrase to do, and we know that that's a cover-up phrase, trying to put a blanket on top of every things, of every dealings that you guys are doing, the wealth that you have accumulated. You want to put a blanket over it to justify to the people that it's okay because you work in the Ivala, and what you have, it's okay to have what you have, and nobody should question that because you are in government. That's not good. That is how I will interpret, and that's how every Zambian today are going to interpret it, because we saw it. We have a precedent that took place from the previous governments, and exactly that phrase made ministers rich, including the very president, more richer than they came in to office. And people were quiet. The majority Zambians still wallowed under abject, or still wallowed in poverty. Yet you guys, yet they got rich. And this is exactly what we see today. And you're making it that when you're trying to tell us that it's only in politics where people can have their, can be rich. You know, you're trying to tell the Zambian people that once you are elected in office, then you know that your life will have to change. You're not doing it for the people, for the future generation, because if you keep and save that money, your future generation will have no trouble whatsoever. But this is what goes on with you African parents. You have a problem when it comes to saving. You have a problem when it comes to save for our future generation. This is what has landed the country that you call sovereign, that has gotten independent for the past 50 years, still wallow under an abject poverty. And since this time you have no one to blame, not a Mzungu to blame for the British. No one to blame, no excuses. It's only you, because the power it's with you. Our own fathers, forefathers that are failing to save money for the nation, saving money for the future generation, and all you do is enriching yourselves and chew whatever you have today and forget about tomorrow. You don't value education. You close universities. You don't pump money into you don't invest into education. You don't care about our old folks. Because if they saved enough money, those old folks, we could have a very good healthcare system in our country, looking after our old people, which one day you're gonna be an old man, because right now you are in your 50s, and 20 years from now, 30 years from now, you're not gonna be the same. You're gonna be old. What plans do you have for your... Now, you should think that you're not the only one. And you have to think collectively, as a whole. Because what you is right now, African leaders or African parents, you always think about yourself, your stomach. That's it. You want to show the monies that you have accumulated to the rest of the world. You want to show off. That's the only thing. Showing off is the best thing that you can do. If you don't know how to save for the future, let's save money. Let's save this money, these funds. Let's build our country for the future generation. Not if you mulela ndefia kulima muivala ati mukalila muivala. Mule posa fenshita mule yiva abana benu bakaya fwane nsala. This is what we end up with a state that has full of children, full of future generation that has never been to school. And if you want the country to develop, send every child to school. Educate the future, because tomorrow's future, uneducated people won't have any place in the future. Today people are advanced. But what are you doing as African leaders? Instead of coming up with projects, look what you're doing. Putting everything in every person's pocket, in your pockets. Enriching yourselves alone with your children. That's it. You don't think of others. No. Because how are they going to know that you're rich? So you're going to steal more. And then that's when you want to use that phrase, Ulima Muivala, Elia Muivala. Allowing the people, giving them, you are giving them a step when they are going to take a lot of miles for it. They're going to steal more. So rephrase that, withdraw that phrase, Your Excellency, so that people can get back to work. And please, we need answers, and we need transparency. Show us your expenditures. Show us your asset. Declare your assets before and after, so that we, the Zambian people, are at peace. You are in control, and do the right thing, and be reasonable, and stop stealing money for the Republic of Zambia. Stop using monies for the people of Zambia. Use it for developmental projects and save money for the future generation. Thank you.